Welcome to Callzoo Coaching Call. Today is January 21st, 2016. Yes, it's already the 21st. And by this time, most people have completely forgotten about all their New Year's resolutions. Those officially, usually, and around the 18th, except for here in Spain, it's a little bit different because they're kind of late to everything. It's just part of the culture. So they don't start their New Year's resolutions till around the 7th or the 10th of January, which means they will forget about them by the end of the month. Don't need to be negative about that kind of stuff. The point is that you want to make changes, and there's no reason why you can't do it right now. You don't need a new year to actually start it. So we're going to do the same format. If you're new to us or just starting out here, do the same format I've been doing for, the past 10 webinars or so. I'm going to share a little bit about what's on my mind. I'm just going to keep this one down to around 5 or 10 minutes. Something for you to think about, because we cannot compartmentalize our success or our failures. You can't go out there and go, you know what, I'm just going to lose weight and get healthy physically. But if you're not working on other areas of your life, it doesn't work. I'm just telling you, it doesn't. People rarely exceed their success if they haven't exceeded their personal growth and development. You've got to work both sides of this thing. It's not isolated. It's not like, okay, I've got my business that I'm trying to build and grow, but you let your health and your family and your friends just go to hack. It doesn't work. It doesn't. I'm not talking about perfect balance here, people, because it just, we're not about perfection. We're about progress, but you got to toe all the other areas up as well, So anyways, it's a really interesting study. And this study was done in the U.S. It was in Stanford University, and this was done back in the 60s, and it's called the marshmallow experiment. And the marshmallow experiment, what they did is they took these kids that were between 5 and 7 years old, and they would put them in a room, and then they would have one of these psychologists from Harvard come in the room, and they would come in with a plate and one marshmallow on it. And they'd set the plate with the marshmallow on it right in front of the kid. This is a 5 or 7 year old, okay? And they would say, they would make it very clear to the child. They would say, Johnny, I'll make a deal with you. See this marshmallow here? And they're like, yeah, I see it. You can have 2 more marshmallows. If you allow me to leave the room, I'll be gone for a few minutes. I'll come back and I'll give you 2 more marshmallows as long as you don't eat this one. If you don't eat this one, you get 3, right? And they'd wait to make sure the child understood, and then they'd confirm it, and they'd say, you would rather have 3 marshmallows than 1, right? Oh, yeah, of course. So I'll be right back. Just don't eat the marshmallow. I'll be right back. I'll give you 2 more. So then the psychologist would leave the room. The kid's all by himself in the room. And of course, they had video cameras going on. They're watching the kids, observing them. And some very interesting things happened. You got to understand that they would leave the kids for 5 minutes. Now, 5 minutes alone in a room with a tasty marshmallow right in front of you and nobody around. That's like telling an adult that they got to wait until after lunch before they can have their morning coffee. I mean, it's a long time for a kid, right? So what happened was that 3 out of the 4 kids, okay, so 3 out of the 4 kids could not last the 5 minutes. Some of them couldn't even last 10 seconds. I mean, the minute that door shut, they're just like, they'd look around, make sure no one is around, and they just engulf, they put the whole thing right in their mouth. Others could wait a couple minutes. Some would just pick up the marshmallow and like smell it and like maybe kind of lick it. The there was one girl in the experiment, the one that I watched, where she actually, with her fingers, made a hole at the bottom of the marshmallow and hollowed it out and ate it, and then sat the marshmallow back down on the plate so it looked like she didn't eat any. That's the dangerous one. And some of them, some of them that the 1 out of 4 that could survive the 5 minutes, right? We're talking about survival at this point, right? They would employ different tactics, and these tactics would be they would tie and untie their shoes, they would look away, they would count with their fingers, they would look up, they would distract themselves on here. Now, this was done back in the 60s, and they did this experiment not just in the United States, they did this across cultures. They did it in South America, they did it in Korea, they did it in China, they did it across everywhere. And everywhere they had the exact same results. Now, this was quite a while ago, so they had, they followed these kids around until they turned into adults and then later in adulthoods, and they found some really interesting conclusions, which I'll share with you after we take a look at the videotape. Hopefully this videotape will show up on here. So let's see here. If we've got this, pull up here, and hopefully this will show up. If it doesn't, watch the replay. The replay will show this. And I'll enlarge this. I know it's in a foreign language. It's okay. I'll just see. Look at that. This was the kid that was like, the minute they leave the room, they just like eat it. See, he's waiting for the door to shut. He's just like, whoop. Even though he knows he just lost 2 more, he could have had 3. Understand, they all clearly know they could have had 3. She's got the powder on her nose. Okay, so I hopefully that showed up okay, but if not, watch the replay and it'll go in there. So what's the point of this on here? What was the result? What did these kids turn out like when they were 20, 25, 30 years old? Well, some really interesting results came about this. And because they did it all over the world and it was done back in the 60s, they've been able to follow these people's lives. Right, until they're 40, 50 years old. And some really interesting things. So, again, 3 out of the 4 kids ate the marshmallows within the 5 minutes, either right away, like you saw some of the videos there, or they waited a little while. They just couldn't take it, like that little girl is like sniffing the powder, and all of a sudden she's like, oh, geez, I can't do it anymore. But there was 1 out of 4 that could do it. And that 1 out of 4 compared to the others, and this is consistent across all cultures, they had very similar results when they ended up being teenagers. When they were teenagers, they ended up, the ones that did not eat the marshmallow ended up getting 3 marshmallows, okay, just waited 5 minutes and got 3. They ended up having much closer relationships both with their parents, their teachers, and friends during high school. Almost like 95% of them graduated from college, the ones that did not eat the marshmallow, and had less health problems, and just had more fulfilling lives. It had made things that are concrete to measure. They clearly made more money. And so, what's the moral of the story here? I mean, what is the reason why? Well, the reason that they gave in this marshmallow experiment, and there's a book out on it too. The book's in like 75 different languages. It's really quite popular. I don't agree with the conclusion, but this is the conclusion. I believe the conclusion only tells part of the story and not the true story. So it's like a half truth. It says that people who delay gratification, they can delay gratification. They're going to have more successful, more fulfilling lives. They're going to have deeper relationships with friends, with colleagues, with teachers, with their parents, with their neighbors. They're going to be able to work harder because they know if they do that, they can delay their gratification. In the end, they'll get, a greater reward. They'll get 3 marshmallows instead of 1. And somehow this might be inherent, but also it can be something that is also taught too. But I think that's only part of the story. Okay. I don't think it's all about delayed gratification, because delayed gratification is only part of the story. That in itself is really dependent a lot on willpower, and willpower is just not sustainable. In my opinion, it's not sustainable on any area in your life, whether you're trying to get healthy and eat better, or you're trying to create better work habits, these kinds of things. Willpower it has a very short lifespan. It's my opinion, but right now I'm sticking by it. I just haven't seen it work, not in my life and in others. But what I have seen work very well is that not only understanding the delayed gratification part, but learning to enjoy the process, learning to enjoy that the real rewards is not the 3 marshmallows. It's the process of waiting for the 3 marshmallows. Now that may sound kind of crazy, so let me put it in another context. Eating better. And eating better, clearly affects your mood, obviously your physical health. That doesn't seem to be much of a motivation for people to get fit, by the way, because people are getting the obese people are surpassing fat people. In other words, fat people are crossing over to obese, at least in the United States. So health is not a good motivation by itself, because it just depends purely on willpower. It's a lot more complex than that. I could talk for hours about it. I'm not going to. But if you want to lose weight, if you just focus on the end goal, which the end goal was to, I weigh 200 and I weigh 220 and I want to get down to 175 pounds if I'm a guy. If I'm a gal, maybe I weigh 150 and I want to get down to 125 or something like that. If you're just focusing purely on this, on the weight itself, and it's like, okay, so how many pounds can I lose per week? 2 pounds per week. Or what do I got to do to lose 2 pounds per week? Oh, I got to eat this way and do that. Okay, I really don't like doing this. It's not enjoyable, but I'll do it because I want to get to that end goal. That's pure willpower. That doesn't last. And so one could argue that that's delaying gratification. It's like, okay, I'm going to delay eating pizza and delay, eating chocolate and these kind of things. I'm going to delay that gratification for the end result because I want to be healthier and lose weight. That doesn't work. Okay, so there has to be more to this game of success in all areas of your life than just delaying gratification, although that's part of it. I think you have to initially kind of understand that concept, but then you got to adopt another one. And that one I'm saying on here is that you've got to enjoy the process. You have to really enjoy. So for weight loss and getting healthier, I really enjoy constantly upgrading my life, upgrading various areas of my health. So it's kind of like when you have a phone, how long do you keep your phone for, right? I mean, these days, because we travel all the time, we don't ever get any kind of phone plans. It's ridiculous. We haven't had a phone plan in 5 years. But so every year we just upgrade our phones, So we upgrade our phones, If you have a Mac or Windows, you upgrade your systems, right? They get upgraded. Well, you should upgrade your health and your life and what you do. So there's various things that we do. Maybe you start out very basic, like you upgrade by, getting rid of, stuff like vegetable oil and replacing it with coconut oil. You get rid of the Morton salt, which is literally poison for you. And instead you go for sea salt or Himalayan salt, like rock salt, and then you put it in a grinder like you would pepper, which has all the incredible minerals in it, which the regular table salt has zippo. You just upgrade slowly. Every week or so, every 2 weeks, every month, and then maybe you might add other things to your health, like instead of a regular shower head, you might discover that most of the water in most parts of the world is filled with chlorine, and if you take a shower, it's like drinking 8 glasses of chlorinated water. It's not good for you, so you change out your shower head. You just upgrade. Not all at once, it's too much. You just upgrade, but you enjoy that process, right? You're like, after a while, you start enjoying it. It's like, okay, cool, what can I upgrade next? All right, we're going to get rid of our Teflon pans, and we're going to get some diamond-coated, clay pans. Okay, so we're not ingesting that stuff in our food. Okay, good. Okay, so what's going to be next? And you enjoy that. And you enjoy that about your business. You enjoy that about the process. So that's falling in love with the process. And pretty soon, see, that process drives you, and it keeps you going. Whereas just the end result, man, it doesn't happen. Look at all the people who, they want a better job, they want a freedom, and all this kind of stuff, and that's the end goal. But they don't enjoy the process. Okay, you got to find ways to enjoy the process, no matter what that is. And so, anyways, you got to delay gratification. You got to find ways to enjoy the process, because the real journey is the process. It's never the end goal. Trust me on that. And of course, never eat the marshmallow. So let's go ahead and move on here. As I promised on here, I'm going to go over my complete SEO checklist for new sites to ensure that you don't get so-called sandboxed, although there really is no such thing, but, meaning you just kind of hang out around beyond page 10 for a while. So how to avoid that, how I use high trust Web 2.0 sites to get some of your other sites indexed. A really cool method on that end of it. I'm going to talk about citations and really why they're a bunch of baloney on that end of it. And then why branding your lead gen niche site is so important. And branding doesn't mean Phoenix Plumber, okay? It means like Roto-Rooter and stuff like that. It means like branding is really important and will actually help you rank faster. I'll show you how exactly. And then how we use our crowd search and we integrate it with these other features on here. So that's what this entire checklist is going to go over. So I'm going to do this on here. In the members area, I'll put up a much more detailed list of this, but I know some people have been asking, so I wanted to get this out there, and kind of as the leaders of the group are kind of moving forward, this is kind of where they are right now. So I wanted to address it right now. So first of all, no matter where you are, you want to make sure that as you're building your site, okay, you want to make sure that you block it from the search engines. And that little checkbox in the WordPress site, that stuff doesn't work, man. We don't want the search engines to search us. Check off this box. And if you don't know what that box is, don't worry about it, because it's useless. If you know what it is, it's useless. And they even say down below, it's like, well, the search engines may or may not search you on this. And you don't want them to search you, because the reason is you want the search engines to come in, particularly Google. You want the Google to come in, and you don't want to show them your first impression of a site that says, hello me or hello world, or, here's, your first 127 words of a draft on a site. That's just not good. Trust me, it's not. And it takes you longer to rank later, because Google's like, you guys don't have your stuff together. We'll come back way later. Okay, so block it off. And I go over this in the membership site. If you haven't seen it yet, please go over it. It's a really unique way. It's an absolutely free plugin that it's a two-step process. You just plug it in, access it, and it basically makes your entire site, your entire domain, a membership site, which that means that the search engines cannot enter into any of your pages. And that's what you want. You don't want to just, hey, leave me alone while I check this out. Now, there's a lot of other methods to do it, but you know what? I'm for the simple way to do it, and most other people are not that familiar with some of the more advanced ways to do it. So then what do you want to have then? You want to have everything all set up. You want to have your homepage set up just the way that you want it, all your pictures, everything done just right. You want to have your disclaimers in, your about us or contact us. They're both pretty much the same. And your service posts. So you got about maybe, for one city for lead generation, you got about 10 or 12 pages going on there. You want to have them perfect and pristine. And then what do? You remove that plugin. And the search engines are going to come after you, and they'll really come after you because the next step you want to do is you want to take your Google Webmaster and you want them to request that they crawl your pages. Don't do the whole pinging crap stuff. It's just too forceful. The best way to do it is just go to the Big Daddy. Just go to Gmail, just go to Google and say, hey, I got my webmaster. It's verified. You see my links up here. Can you please crawl them? That's the best way to do it. Okay. And if you got good, in your first impression, you got great content. You got good, useful content, not this thin, crappy stuff. You got really good content on here. You're not overly spammy, all that kind of stuff. Google gonna love you. Okay. Next is citations. Now, citations is this. Look, you got to face the reality here, and I know we've all been told this kind of stuff that you got to have 20, 30, 40, 50 citations, and there's services out there that are going to provide you all of these ways that they're going to Yext, Y-E-X-T, or Yext, or whatever it's called, company out of San Francisco, a multi-million-dollar company, I should say. And they're purely in the business of just making sure that you're in every one of the citations. Well, guess what the citations are for? Guess why they were built? They were built for one reason and one reason only, and it has nothing to do with your SEO. Absolutely nothing. It has everything to do with companies that want to have full permission to market to you, to sell you all kinds of online goods. SEO, video marketing, AdWords, they want to sell you all that stuff. And they got permission. And if you look at the small print or you hover over the little question marks, all that kind of stuff, and the yellow pages, all that kind of stuff, they are multi-million-dollar companies that this is solely it. They get you to come in, put in your information, and yes, you agree to list here, and you agree that we can call you up and talk to you. And you got to give them your name and your email and all that kind of stuff. It's a genius system for collecting leads for them, right? Okay, so just remember that's what it is. So you don't need them to rank, okay? You don't, but they're good for just a few sources. So this is what I do. This is my top 7 list here, and I would recommend you just do 3. And the reason that these are on here is not because they're the so-called most popular. I mean, who's rating what's the most popular? Okay, the one that can pay the most cash. Wake up. Okay, wake up. These citations, they're no different than Big Pharma. Okay, it's no big difference than Big Pharma or vaccinations or any of that kind of stuff, or even IRA accounts and all that stuff that's bankrupt. But anyways, so I like these for a couple of reasons. Number one, they're one of the only do follow links. If I'm going to put in the information and then I got to go to the trouble to blacklist your number so you don't call me, literally, if the minute you put your number in here, I mean, within hours, people are calling you. I mean, it's like the boiler room. You're close. I mean, they're just like every hour calling. Can I talk to the business owner? Where's the business owner? I want to talk to the business owner. It's just like, holy shit. What a waste of time for you, your clients, and everyone else in the world. I mean, wake up. So these are do follow. And if you've got obviously you got the Callzoo system, so you're just going to quickly check the unblacklist. If if you needed to get verified. But the nice thing about these is that none of these need to be phone verified. So you don't got to mess with that kind of stuff. We've already blacklisted their numbers, so you're not going to get any phone calls in there. If they switch their phone numbers up and get some more, that's okay, because any member that blacklists a number gets on your blacklist number. So you don't have to worry about these. And these are do follow. The rest of them are not. And I like the yellow bot because they got a trust flow of 60 on the root domain. And then the insider page obviously gets 37, and I began at 37. So those are the main three ones right there. And that's all I would do with those. That lets you give a good presence on there. You get some kind of value out of it, and they're going to be blacklisted because you're using the CallZoo system. So they're not going to be calling you and hounding you all the time because they're blacklisted. And you get a do follow link. So I use them as a tier 1. I'll show you what I do with those in a second. So we got our 3 citations. Those, if you use those top 3, you usually don't have to ping them. There's like within a day or 2, they're already indexed. You can just type in your branded name, okay? And a branded name is not your keyword search, okay? It's not a branded name. You type in your branded name, and boom, they're going to show up. I can almost guarantee you 9 out of 10 times, all 3 of them will show up within a couple of days. Just put it in. But you might have to ping 1 or 2, depending on your situation. So we have that. We got a site up. First time impressions looks fantastic. We got our pages indexed because we asked Google to index them, which is who we should be asking to do it, not playing any funny tricks to try to get them to force it to be indexed. We do our citations. We're good there. And now what we're going to do is we're going to use crowd search, because crowd search is awesome because it answers a question that is part of the Google algorithm, and that is what? Well, it's pretty easy to tell if a new site is gaming the system. It doesn't take seriously a Harvard programmer and Yale and MIT that are on their staff to figure it out. It's real simple math. There's some kind of ratio they've got going on. I don't know what it is. Nobody does except for the ones that are doing it, right? There's some kind of ratio going on where they got a number of searches and number of backlinks that make sense for that particular niche. Hence, it's why we give you the Majestica backlink for the top 3 sites in your city so that you can analyze them and study them. And most of you will find out there's not that many backlinks. For a lot of you, it's like 30 or 50 backlinks for sites that you're trying to beat. And if you come in there and you got 1 or 2 unique searches per day, yet you've got 2 or 3 links per month, that ratio doesn't make any sense. You understand what I'm saying? It doesn't make any sense. It's not natural. You got more backlinks than you do natural searches. It makes no sense at all. So what you do is you come in with crowd search, and right away, the day you're indexed, if you type in your branded name, what's going to show up on page 1? Your site. Page 1 for your branded name. And guess who loves branding? Google loves branding. They love branding. They want you to brand. They want to see your brand being tweeted on Facebook. They want to see people searching for it. They want to see your brand. Really important. That's how they determine that you're, one of the good guys or gals. And you use the crowd search, which is going to be local people in your area searching for your brand name in Google, finding your site, clicking on it, spending 3 minutes there, clicking on some of your service links, hanging out there, and then they're done searching. What do you think that tells Google? Yeah, it tells them that you were the perfect match. You were it. You were it. And if you've ever done AdWords, you know that this is not like some SEO revelation. They've been doing this with AdWords for years. They got a whole bunch of AdWords coming in, and you got AdWords, and they'll give you a lower price for your AdWords if people click on your ad, spend more time on your site, and click through. They're like, well, the people have voted. Out of these 10 AdWords sites that we got on here, this one's getting the most click through, and this one, people are spending the most time on their site. Must be the best choice, right? Same thing with SEO, people. Same thing. So this is what you do, right? So then Guess what's going to happen? You do that for a little while. You got to monitor it. Do that maybe for a week or two. And you start searching for your main keywords instead of your brand name. And you'll start to notice that it was nowhere to begin with. And all of a sudden, maybe it's on page 8 or 7 out of nowhere. And you just did no backlinks. All you did was your citations and your crowd search. Well, guess what? It's now time to switch crowd search to switch not for your brand name, but for keywords. Find your site on page 7, 8, or 9. Now it's time to send some backlinks to there, because now it seems normal to send backlinks to. You understand what we're saying? Okay. This is not about, the old dumb school of, we're going to send some EDU sites, some government sites, some wiki sites, all this kind of nonsense. Okay. That stuff doesn't work anymore, people. All right. So this is just a rough guideline, but when in doubt, do less. Always less is better. Send 2 local backlinks per month. It's 2. You got to look at your competition. I'm going to guess when you look at your Majestic that my team sends you the full backlink profile, and you look at the top 3, you look at the number 1, the 3, and you kind of average it out. How many backlinks do they got going? Look at you got all the links to them, so you can look at them and you can say to yourself, what's the quality of these links? And if you haven't looked at my videos where I go on for, 2 or 3 different half-an-hour rants on just going over and analyzing backlinks and all the crappy ones out there, please watch those so that you have a good understanding of that. So when you look at the Majestic backlink profile that my team gives you, you'll be able to look at it and go, oh, there's 150 of them here, but geez, 90% are junk. Okay. And you'll be able to do that. And then you kind of need to say to yourself, okay, it doesn't, if just because they have 150 doesn't mean I need 150, because 90% of those are junk. And it usually is almost every single time. This ranking game locally is so easy when you're not stupid about it. Okay. So maximum of 2 local backlinks, and in there I show you how to get local backlinks. So if you're in Houston, I show you how to get local Houston backlinks. This is what Google wants to see while you are using a Houston IP address and a separate Firefox account just for that. Okay, see how this is all making sense? This is really, really high level, but total common sense stuff. Okay, so then you might send one. Maybe one of your private blog networks, and those can just only include your Web 2.0s. It depends on how competitive your niche is. And my team does a really good job of finding really good, clean, above 10 trust flow sites that have real neutral backlinks. Like from libraries and arts and stuff. Nothing really specific. And you don't have to pay for hosting or none of these things. And I show you step by step how to maintain those and keep those up. Okay, so then at this point, what's going to happen on this end of it? Do you want to send? If you're like, geez, I've done this 1 to 2 local backlinks. I've done maybe one, like a high trust 14 web 2.0 backlink, using a nice, good article, original content, all that good stuff. No spammy links. We're being clean here, right, folks? Then if you just can't take it anymore, it's like, I'm not ranking fast enough, and you want to send more backlinks, do not send them directly to your site. Don't do it. Okay. Don't make that extreme rookie mistake. Okay, no problem. So what are you going to do? You're going to send more backlinks if you feel like you need them. Okay, if you're just totally impatient, where are you going to send them to? You're going to send them to your citations, which are do follow. So that links are going to pass to your citations, help raise your citations up, which is going to give you more credit. Okay, it's going to give you more trust, and it's going to pass on some of the link juice to your site, but indirectly, so it's not spammy. Okay. You're going to send more backlinks to your Web 2.0, which is obviously a do follow, which is going to pass on to your site, but it doesn't make it look like you got an extra 10 or 20 backlinks that month. The other sites did. Okay. That's if you feel like you need it. If you're just like, oh, geez, I just got to get more backlinks. I can't do this 1 to 2 backlinks per month thing like Chris is saying. That's insane. I can't do it. Okay. If you're just in that mindset. Okay. then that's how you do it. Okay. And that's how you protect yourself on that end of it. Okay. So here's a hot indexing tip. One of my team members found this out by accident. Is it going to work every single time? I don't know, but it works an awful lot for us, so it's definitely worth trying. So some of your local backlinks, like I show you how to get your local blog links, or even blog backlinks do follow that are within your same niche, but they'll be nationwide. The local forum links, stuff like this. By the way, even though I've done case studies showing backlink profiles of like lawyer sites, really high competitive sites, and showing the backlinks of the top 10 backlinks of the driving force of why they're ranking on page one, number one. A lot of times there's one or two forum links locally. Wake up. Okay, so we still get questions with people out there. The forum link's really good. They're total trash. It's like, no, you got to stop listening to everybody, okay? We go by reverse engineering. We go out there. We don't go out there and listen to the next guru, okay, that's driving around, the Ferrari, or going to the new, dealer to buy some new fancy car. That's not what we're doing, okay? Instead, all right, we're going to HREF, our commercial account, our Majestic account, our Moz account, and we're just reverse engineering how are other sites in locally ranking number one. Let's reverse engineer and try to figure this thing out rather than getting caught up with the fancy cars driving off the lots. Okay? Anyways, so if you take your Web 2.0s, and every Web 2.0, no matter what it is, whether it's a live journal or Weebly, and if anybody comes in here and says, the Weeblies have a no-follow links in them, that's just such a bunch of baloney. I know anyways. Bloggers, the Tumblrs, all these kind of stuff. They all have some kind of widget on the side, and you can add a do follow link on there. You just take your, like your form URL, you take your citations, and you put them, and you just use any kind of link in there. Don't get too spammy with it, okay? Trusted partners. Here's a trusted partner, blah, 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 blah. Here's a trusted partner link on Yelp, or not on Yelp, on Brown Book or Yellowbot. And if you put that on there, and you've already got, because you can get them free from us, right, as a member, you've already got a high trust Web 2.0 site, those things tend to get indexed right away. And the only links that count are indexed ones, right? So anyways, it's a really cool way to do it. Now, once they're already indexed, you want to remove them from your Web 2.0 site, okay? Because they've done their job, and then you can recycle it if you feel like you need to do more, if you're moving on to the next city. Okay, let me just stop right there just really quickly, and there's probably got a ton of questions. How far are we into this? We're just 39 minutes into this. Let me do this. Hang on to your questions. Let me just keep flowing through these. Let me get through the questions and answers. We have a whole bunch of kind of rapid fire ones. I briefly looked at a couple. There are some pretty good ones. So let me get through those, and then I'll just open it up for questions and answers. Okay, so here we go. Excuse me. I'm already starting to lose my voice. You mentioned once that we shouldn't have open two Firefox profiles at the same time, even if they go to different IP addresses. So what that question is that you shouldn't have two Firefox accounts, like one Firefox account, which is maybe your normal one you've always used, and then a brand new Firefox account open, which is attached to your local city niche that you're working on IP address. No, you shouldn't have them open. I believe there's some kind of leak there, so I would just close the other one out and just always have just one Firefox account profile open. Do you create an About Us page on your site? Would that be helpful? Look, I mean, like an About Us, a Contact Us, It's kind of the same thing. And a contact us is probably a little bit more useful. So I would probably lean towards a contact us. And in a contact us, it would start out with, you go start out in one city. There's a really good comment today, and I forget the gentleman's name who really nailed it on the head. But I did give credit to him in the Facebook group. But anyways, and he really kind of nailed the whole thing. Someone was kind of like saying, someone put in the Facebook group today or sometime soon, recently, that, I know you all don't want to reveal your niches, but could you tell me the niches that you wouldn't do and why? And that led to a really interesting comment, which I thought just nailed it on the head and is a great frame to keep when you're doing this. And it's absolutely correct. There are thousands of fantastic niches to get into. But what happens, I think, is that people tend to, when they're researching and looking at their niche, which one to get into, they tend to think like one or two or three or five cities, or even one city, and they kind of think about it and think, oh, geez, there's only this many, there's only 250 searches per month on here. Oh, and it's really not, they can only charge, geez, it's only like $100 service. So maybe I could only charge like $5 a lead or something. That's not that much. And there's only 250 calls per month, and I'm not going to get all those. So that only may be like 30 or 40 bucks. No. That's the wrong thing. This is the World Wide Web. So you want to be thinking 50 cities. Okay, 50 cities on here, and 50 cities, and if each city on 50 city, you're only charging $5 per call, okay, but on average, okay, let's say per day, I don't know, you're getting maybe, let's keep it real conservative, just 5 calls, okay, that's $1,200 a day, okay, that's almost $500,000 per year. That's pretty darn good. Where someone else would look at it and go, that's not a good niche because I can't make like $200 a day or $500 or $1,000 a month from that one city. No, you got to think scale. And I think that's a really good. And when you start thinking that way, then all of a sudden it just opens up the possibilities. It's like, oh, okay, that's what I'm thinking. And last week on our last call, I talked about, are you thinking too small? And what I really meant by that was, are you thinking from a survival standpoint, which is our core default thinking, our lizard brain, or whatever you want to talk, or however you want to label it. But it could also be applied there. Are you thinking, big, like scalability? Are you thinking in the business mindset, the abundance mindset on here? Yes, there's not that many calls, or there is a lot of calls, but they don't charge that much for the service. So I couldn't charge that much for my phone calls. But what if I was in 50 U.S. cities or 30 U.S. cities? And then you even expand beyond that. My team now has been studying, because we're at that level right now. So we've been studying, meaning, we don't go out and buy the latest SEO course. That's not what we do. We go out and find other people who are successful, and we reverse engineer what they're doing, okay? That's really the only way to do it, folks. And then you test it, and then you got to have a laboratory and test it, right? We've been finding actually a lot of sites that have expanded out from the U.S., and then they go into Canada, but under the same domain name, and even out to the UK under the same domain name. Now, we're still under the research phase with this, but this is an example of thinking large and out there. So anyways, I think I answered the question about the About Us page. Do you vary your anchor text for interlinking on your site for the service post or number post? Yes. I would follow a very similar approach to anchor text. With your external ones that I talk about, where really only 1% or even one of your links is your main keyword, okay? And I would follow that same pattern, because we do some really tricky stuff with that, and that is where we'll put our kind of our rich keywords like one word away from like a click here. It's literally like one word away from click here. And I'm telling you, when we started doing that, we really saw some boost up there. But we're not actually anchor texting the actual keyword-rich link, okay? It's the one right next to it, like the click here, check this out, or a naked link, or our brand, okay? So to answer your question directly, follow the same rules as you would for external links. Do we have to remove the posting time and date from the service posts? I don't see why not. Put them all together at the same time, and Shazam, and you open up. But if you feel like you need to, just go ahead. It's not going to affect the SEO or anything as far as I know of. Do you use H2, H3, H4 tags? You didn't include the H1, so I guess you probably assume you already do the H1, so you're asking about the 2, 3s, and 4s. We stopped doing that stuff a while ago, and the reason is that we're just like, look, the algorithms are going to be smart enough to know what this page is about and the site is about. We don't need to be like trying to shove it down their throat by doing all these H1s and H2 and H3 tags and, stuffing keywords behind photos and all this kind of stuff. So if you're going to do it, I wouldn't do the H2, 3s, and 4s. I wouldn't even do the H1s. But if you want to do an H1, go ahead. But only for text purposes, not for SEO. Do you think the meta link for your images, do you use the meta link for your images when you don't link out to any authority site? No. Okay, so if I have a question concerning sites that we cover a niche in multiple cities and multiple states, do we still only have one of each Web 2.0 per domain, or is it one each per city? So okay, so I already know what the question is. I can just tell without finishing reading that. This is a damn good question. So this is a good question. So basically, right now we've kind of this whole conversation. We've talked about a lot of things, but as far as this thought process, what we've talked about is we've had one site, one niche, one city. This is how we backlink it. What about at city 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10? How does that look like? Great question. So this is what it looks like. What you're going to find is that if you follow the procedures of ranking exactly the way I teach it, as we've done this thousands of times, depends on the niche, but you're going to find somewhere around 5, 6, 7. When you're ranking on page 1 and you're above the fold for 5, 6, 7 cities, and you've practiced all the things that we've taught, you got the Google Webmaster Tool. Every time you log into your Firefox, you've also got your Gmail on. So just Google can just track everything you're doing, right? And they're like, you're good. You're really trustworthy. We like you, and we see that other people are searching for you, your brand name and your keywords, and they're hanging around your site and clicking through it and not going to anyone else's. And you got some good quality backlinks, and you're not trying to spam the hell out of us. We like you. You're cool. Oh, you're going to another city? Hey, no problem. Go ahead and move him up. He's cool. Yeah. He's going to another city. Yeah, move him up. He's cool. Yeah. He's already proved himself. Okay? So you're going to find a tipping point. And that tipping point, you're going to find that somewhere along there, Google's just going to really trust you, and you just kind of fling one little link at it. Now, this could be one of the links. Okay? One of the links could be one of your, I talk about 2 types of Web 2.0s. One is that you just use, this is like a nice juicy one that you use just for one backlink to your site. That's it. And that's the one where you're doing 1,200, 1,400 words. You got some nice pictures in there. I mean, it's kind of a work of art, the kind of quality that you've written here. Now, I've done detailed case studies, and I've videotaped those, where I've done those with lawyer sites. And they're having the same type of backlinks going back to their site. And that's their number 1 and number 2 backlink, and the main reason they're ranking number 1. Okay, so this is not a fluke or an accident. Okay, plus then we take it back to the laboratory and we try it ourselves. And it works. Okay, big surprise, right? So take the time to do that. That's your big juicy one. Now, you've already proven yourself. So for the first, until you've proven yourself, until you start to feel that kind of man, I just tossed a backlink or I just put up another city and it's like it's already the second day and I'm already on page 3. That's a good sign. Then you toss a little backlink at it, just one. You do a little crowd search. Whoa, you're already on the bottom of page 1 after a week or 2. Guess what? Google really trusts you at that point because you've already got 5, 6, 7, 8 cities up on page 1, and this is your next one. Okay, that's a good sign. All you got to do at that point is you kind of circle back around and you go back to some of your other Web 2.0s that were maybe just for you and just you're linking out, and you might put at the bottom of it a little notation. Hey, this service here just opened up in a second location, just in case you wanted to know. Here it is. Boom. Now you got another backlink. Even from the same source, that's okay. That's usually enough to push it right up. Now, keep in mind that you've got the second kind of Web 2.0. We haven't even gotten into the private blog networks, which we're going to be offering, but we're not even there yet. A lot of you won't even need them. And why bother with paying with the hosting if you don't need them, right? Anyways, the second type of Web 2.0 is the one where we just have 6 backlinks going out to local websites. That's it. No more, because we don't want to look like a spammy private blog network linking farm, which in my case studies, I've shown what those look like, and they're horrendous. They look horrible, man. And that's not what we want to look like. We're sustainable. We're in this for the long haul. We're willing to do what other people won't do and willing to be smarter about this than other people, okay? Anyways, so you've got another Web 2.0 that you don't even have to search for, do nothing for. You just request one. Just make sure you qualify, don't abuse our system, request it, you get it. And then this one might be one that you use to exchange backlinks within the community, right? So now it's not a 1,200 word article, maybe 300 or 400 word article. And then you're going to have 10 total articles on your homepage, okay? 10 total. And only 6 of those are going to have outbound links to other local websites. 2 of those will have no backlinks going. Every article on there is 100% original. The other 2, because there's 4 that won't. There's 4 articles that aren't taken for, basically, because you got 6 that are used. 1 to your site, and then you're going to exchange 5 with others. So that means you get 5 other backlinks from someone else, because you're going to be exchanging with your site too within the members. And by the way, I knew this was going to come up, and it actually has in the support desk. I saw one of the questions come up. People are concerned. And I understand it's valid, but just hear me out, because it's really not. People are afraid if they do link exchanges that other people are going to discover their niches. So what? I think you're all realizing that have gotten up to this level right now. You realize how much work and pure dedication it takes. If you haven't realized it now, you're going to really make a niche work. First of all, for those of you who've gone through Module 1, that's probably about a 20 to 40 hour process for you. And kudos to everyone who's done it. There's been many comments on the Facebook group, many comments in our support desk that people are like, wow, that's the most work I've ever done. I really appreciate it. I really feel like I'm moving forward with this. I really appreciate it. I mean, people appreciate their own hard work and doing that rather than just kind of cutting corners and looking for the quick fix. There's no such goddamn thing, okay? That's just the beginning, folks. Sorry. I mean, I'm not sorry, but look, anytime something's difficult to do, it just means there's a huge reward waiting for you. Okay, so don't ever forget that. And you gotta appreciate the process. So part of the process is you went through all these, these methodical processes of finding a niche. And it's not just the numbers on the keyword planner. You've got to step off. After the numbers make sense, then you got to step off. You got to do some field research. You got to look at the sites. You got to look at the competition. You got to understand what's going on with them. You got to make some phone calls to really do your due diligence, to really understand the business, the niche, not just the numbers alone. And then you got to continue that learning curve going up as you're writing content and building the sites and all this kind of stuff. It's a lot of work. So it's not like someone else can just It's like, so what? He's in this niche. Who cares? I've already done my research. I've already done my due diligence. And the only way somebody could have done their due diligence and sent in for either myself or my head assistant to review your niche just to give us some feedback, make sure there's no red flags, there's nothing going on that maybe, you didn't see, because we want to give you every opportunity to succeed. They've already done that work. They're already married to their niche. You're married to your niche. And it's not like you just go, oh, wow, he picked out a good, that's what niche is in. Oh, that must be a really good niche. Look, every niche is a good niche. It depends how much effort you put into it. That's what makes it successful. You got to put effort into this, okay? You got to put effort. You got to understand it. You're going to hit roadblocks, okay? Every single entrepreneur hits roadblocks, okay? Trump, bankrupt twice on here. Steve Jobs, fired. The board fired him, okay? There's bumps in the road. That's part of the process. You got to fall in love with that. And you got to keep going and persevering. You got to put your blinders on and go forward. So don't ever think for a minute that, I totally get it. Look, it's different like in the Amazon world. I don't mean like Amazon jungle. I mean Amazon where you buy stuff on. That's different because it's so easy. You just go, oh, that's your product you're in? Oh, okay, great. I'll go to the manufacturer in China, wherever. I'll buy it. I'll underbid you to push you out, and then I'll take over the marketplace. That's kind of a no-brainer. This is different. This takes a lot of work and dedication to do. And so just know that even if someone who already did the work and the due diligence to find their niche, realize they probably put in 40 solid hours, more hours than they probably put into any course ever that they purchased, let's be honest. And now they haven't even built a site yet. Now they're building a site and they're putting content in and they're building backlinks and they've gone through their Firefox and their IP addresses and their Gmail and their phone verification. It's a lot of work. You just think they're going to shift gears and go, oh, you're in this niche, so I'm going over here. Yeah, are you what? No, it's just not going to happen. And anyone who would have that kind of limited framework to do that, they don't have the lasting power that you do. Okay, so please don't be afraid of that. Our community you have to go through some hoops. The barriers to entry are pretty high. You can't even get a Web 2.0 site unless you've also submitted your site. Our team looks at their site and we can tell right away whether you're throwing some piece of crap together or something like this. Then we're going to say, go back to the drawing board. You're not worthy of this yet. Okay. You're not ready. Okay, so there's a lot of work involved in that, and as long as you keep working forward with yours and stay committed, no one's going to catch up with you. And the truth of the matter is that 98% of the people out there don't have the work ethic to put through to keep going through with it, like you do. So, anyways, I don't know if I answered the question thoroughly about the Web 2.0s when you get to larger sites, but look, when you get to the tipping point, and then once you start doing to the tipping point, if you start doing some shared Web 2.0s with yours and some other people, you can start pushing those out. And you're going to do about 80% to your homepage and 20% randomly to service posts and post pages. For every one site, for every one site that you've got, so you've qualified, so you're ready to move on to another city. Your existing city is already at least on page 1 or 2, so you've requested some more Web 2.0s. My team gives them to you, and then at that point you're like, okay, so I'm going to make these next 2 Web 2.0s link exchange ones. So I have 2 sites. So I'm going to point those 2 sites at my maybe one inner page and my home page of my new city. I'm going to do some crowd search. You should, if you're not ranking within a couple of weeks, then you can do some link exchanges. And I certainly wouldn't blast out 5 at your one. I would just link exchange one at a time, just like one really slowly. And you can start to leverage and move up like that. What you're going to find basically is the end game is this. until you reach that tipping point, you're going to have some Web 2.0s that are matching up. You're going to have, 4 or 5 or 6 Web 2.0s pointing up at your homepage for Cincinnati. Then you're going to have another set of them pointing up to your next city, and so on and so forth. When you reach that tipping point, you can start to mix them up, and you can start to do lots of link exchanges and stuff like this. So that's the way it goes. I'll do a whole diagram and be more specific about that. But right now, no one's there. Someone just asked a forward-thinking question on that. Do you use tags in service and normal posts? Yes. So no matter what you're doing, whether it's a service post or a normal post, you want to definitely make sure that, whether you're using, Yoast or, the 6-pack, whatever, the SEO 6-pack, they're really the only purpose of those. It doesn't matter which one you use. It's just to make sure that you got your meta, your description, and your tags in there. Rather than just having Google just strip off whatever they think should show up. So you should put in something in there. Do not keyword stuff it. XML sitemap, do you change? No, just the default. For no link exchange Web 2.0, are we only posting to one article? Yes. You got a big, meaty, really juicy article, 1,200, 1,400 words. It's a lot. 3, 4 pictures, and you're just having one link going out to your site. It's just like nice, juicy. It's just like this totally authoritative site just pushing out only to you. I know we should create a separate Firefox profile for each Web 2.0. Well, not for each one. Let me clarify that in just a second. But should we also create an additional Firefox profile for the local backlinks, or is it okay to use the same Firefox profile we created in the Web 2.0? There's a lot of confusion around this whole Firefox profile with your local. Look, this is what you want to try to think of. Think of, you got this business owner in Houston, Texas, who's opening up a handyman site. He's going to build his own site. I know, maybe it sounds unrealistic, but he's going to build his own site. He's going to go around to local Houston forums and interact. He's going to go around to other local sites, news sites, radio sites, find articles that are relevant to handyman type of stuff. He's going to leave comments. This is what he does. He's going to get a Gmail account. He's going to try to brand his Gmail account name like his branding of his company. This is what you do, right? You're going to get a webmaster tool, and you're going to so you can have Google tell you how your site's doing, how the health of it. These are the things that you do. You do not go out, get a Web 2.0 site, and then send a backlink back to your site. That's a no. Okay? I hope that's crystal freaking clear. You do not do that. No, because that would not be natural. That's obvious that you are sending the backlink. No. You want the World Wide Web to send the backlink to someone else. So a different Firefox profile. Okay? Now, to come back to your Web 2.0s. If you've got a LiveJournal, a Weebly, a Tumblr, okay, whatever the other ones are out there, okay, but you've got no duplicate ones. They're all different. All of those can be under a different Firefox account with a different IP address anywhere you want, preferably somewhere in the States or whatever country you're starting in. But if you've got under one Firefox profile, one IP address, 2 LiveJournals, guess what LiveJournal is going to do? They're going to go, whoa, that's kind of weird. I bet he's a spammer. And they're going to block your account. Blogger will do the same thing. WordPress will do the same thing. Tumblr will do the same thing. Weebly will do the same thing. They'll all do the same thing. Okay? So you can't have 2 of the same under an account. I hope that makes sense. Okay, can you go over when we should start the backlinking from the forums, locals, and newspapers? I already did that earlier. So I'm going back to a few of my research cities to compare the competition's address and maps. Okay? I'm finding 30 or 40% of them do not have an address and maps. Okay? when I look at their site, a lot of them do not have an address at all. And some I have to dig deep to find it. Well, if you have to dig deep, trust me, Google doesn't. They'll find it instantly. If you don't have an address, how are they even ranking in maps for a particular city? Sounds like a good thing for me. Can you give me your opinion? Okay, so first of all, how do I want to address this? Instead of spending your time doing this, you should really be spending your time doing other things. Just to be frank with you, for right now, I see this over and over again. People tend to. It's like we've got a very successful system. System works. And then everyone, like every single little micro step along the way, someone wants to find a different way or other way to do it. Just don't for now. Just get this done, complete the entire process, get up to page 1, kick my ass on it, and then teach us something. And then go out and experiment. But for right now, you don't need to. But to answer your question directly on here, it's this. Just look, probably those Google Maps you got in there are probably not claimed. Okay, and Google probably found the name of them and a phone number, maybe not an address, so they just gave them. Out of all of the Google Maps that are out there, it's like 80% of them worldwide are not claimed. These are probably part of those. And they're going to be partially filled out with information. And Google has their own algorithm ways to find out what city they're in. And if they don't have an address listed, if they don't think it's an address that is maybe valid, they just leave it blank, but they have a phone number or something like that. So they know that it's, or they have an IP addresses. So they know that it's in a particular city. So they know at least to list the name, stuff like that. Or they can pull pictures from Facebook. I mean, they have all kinds of ways of doing it. So that's probably why it is on there like that. As far as what? If they don't have an address, if they don't have an address on the site, it's the same reason for how they did that. This is like, you know what? Yeah, I'm just going to leave it at this. It's a little bit tough love, but look, it's none of your business. I'm just going to be straight up with you. It's kind of like, what the best advice I ever heard from somebody was, I can't remember who it was. They told me, it's none of your business what other people think of you. It's none of your business. Just move on. You don't care about it. This is the same thing. It's none of your business. Just move on. Okay. What are you going to do with this information if you find out the real information on it? Does it mean you don't have to put an address in it? Or it doesn't serve you in any way. You should be asking. You send in a question next week by studying a site that is number 1 in your niche, and they have something odd or particular that you've researched and you can't figure out why, and you're wondering if that's the reason why they're ranking number 1. That's a better use of your time. Okay, so now we're down questions and answers on here. So let me open up the chat box, and a member sent in this that said, when you answer the questions, can you copy and paste them and put them in the slides so that people can reference them later? I thought that was a great suggestion. Thank you very much. We do listen to our users. Okay. Let me open up the chat box, which I know you guys can't see. That was another thing. I never realized you guys can never see the chat box. So let's see here. Yes, ScreenFlow. Can't compare success or failures. Brilliant. Okay, good. Don't need. Okay, so, oh, good. Okay. Good. Okay, so I want to kind of get. So this is what I'm going to do. I'm just going to fast forward right down to the bottom and work my way up. Okay. So I'm going to copy this. And this is a good question, actually. And just give me a second here to copy and paste this. And it's a little bit slow, but I'm getting better at it. So now you can see the question. It's on the slides for the replays. Do citations help you get into the Google 3-pack? No, they don't. That's not part of the algorithm as far as we can tell on here. What's a bigger factor on that end of it is going to be the quality of your site on here and reviews. And it really comes down to the end user interaction, which is other people visiting your site, how much time they spend on it, did they click through things, do they go to your site and bounce off right away and go somewhere else, do they come back and then decide to stay with you because now you're the better choice, and did they give you reviews. That's what it comes down to. I haven't seen citations. Citations is purely baloney. It's pure baloney. It's pure marketing, 110%. It's like, it's actually genius. It's actually not even genius. It's completely stupid. But I guess the marketing aspect of it was kind of the semi-genius part. Nah, it's not even genius. It's basic 101 marketing. There's actually nothing clever or anything about it. It's just people are so blinded sometimes these days. Anyways, no. Look, Yelp, Yellow Pages, all these kind of stuff. They're not your friends. They're not. Why do they have those sites up there? What do you got to ask yourself? Why do they have the sites up there? Why do they have them up there? For one reason only. Enter your phone. Next time, fill out a fake information in there, but this time enter your cell phone. See how many goddamn people call you. You'll become very evident right away. It's like, holy shit, man, I'm having someone call me every 15 minutes. What the hell's going on here? I just entered my information in there an hour ago. Holy crap. Yeah. They're going to sell the heck out of you. Even if you tell them you don't want to be, take me off the list. They're going to put you on another list, and 2 days later, they're going to call you right back. That's all that is. Because they know when you entered in that thing, you agreed to it. In the small print, it's in there. That is their sole purpose. Is to sell you SEO, to sell you AdWords, to sell you a new website, to sell you a video on YouTube, to sell you social marketing. That's what they're there for. That's it. Nothing else. All the other stuff is a facade. Anyways, just wake up to that fact. So, no, you don't. Will I do a live case? Yes, we're going to do live case studies for sites. I'm not going to put that in there in the questions. Citations, when you use 3 to 5 approved sites, once they've been set up and indexed, do we then send backlinks to them and boost them? I'll go ahead and question and do that. I think I already answered that, but it's a good question. Put it in here and paste that in there. So yes, when we do citations, and the citations are do follow, we use them as a tier 1. So if you feel this is not necessary all the time at all. I'm not saying it's necessary to send backlinks as part of the overall strategy 100% of the time to your citations so that they pass through, raise your citations up in the search engine, and then pass some link juice onto your site. No. You just need a couple of key, really good quality sites. If you look at the kind of crap that's out there in these sites on here, I mean, let's just go ahead and just do this so that we don't have to. We can actually. This is totally off the cuff, so I'm not. I haven't prepared this or anything. So, and let me just do Handyman Phoenix. Hopefully, it's someone's niche or no one's niche. I don't know. Handyman Phoenix and. Okay, so first of all, look, whenever you see this kind of thing, especially because this is the 10 best, okay, that means Google can't find anything better. This one is one particular person's on here, Handyman Services on here. He put in 34 photos. He's got 13 reviews. He's probably got a couple of backlinks. That's why he's ranking here, okay? Then here's another one. He's got 32 photos, probably got a few less backlinks than the guy up here. This is a national chain site. This is a Home Advisor. This would be a really easy site to come in and kind of easily float up to number 1. But I want to give you a kind of example here. So what would it take? This is kind of this is kind of sort of not the best example, but let's go ahead and take a look at this. By the way, Let me look on here for. These are great. Like people are having a difficulty with like service posts. Look at this is they should be service posting these. Deck repair, drywall repair. You should be posting this. You should have a link here that goes out to a separate article all about deck repair. Okay. You should have another one about drywall. You should have another one right here about glass repair. You should have another one around here about, honey-do list, some kind of article about that. These are service posts, folks. Okay. This is the same kind of things that other sites do that rank number one and that dominate in the search engines. So go ahead and take this site. I'll paste it in here. And am I logged in? I can't tell. Yeah, it looks like it, but I don't want the full URL. I want the root domain. But we'll just remember that 16.9. Okay, so let's take a look at the backlinks on here. And this is what I'm talking about. Okay, so this is the first backlink on here. Now look, this is a trust flow of 26, but it's about religion and spirituality. So it really doesn't have anything to do, I don't think, we'll take a look at in a second, with, handyman stuff, right? Unless, no, it doesn't. But let's just take a look at it and see where it is. So we'll go ahead and do this, and we'll just go ahead and take a look at it. But this is their strongest link right here, folks, okay? My internet's kind of slow, so. Well, what is this? This is their webmaster. This is the person who made their site. So somewhere on here is their site, and it's right here. Okay, so it's not contextual. It's not inside a good 1,200 page article. It's none of that kind of crap. Okay, this is a crummy link, but that's their best link. That's their best link. Now this one, their second best link, has no trust flow whatsoever and no anchor text. I don't even know what this is. That's okay. It's a naked link. I'm cool with it. I'd rather do naked links than. So let's just take a look at this. What is this? Professional window cleaning. Okay. Window cleaning, handyman, kind of related, right? Kind of home service kind of stuff. So we're pretty good there. And it's in the same area in Phoenix, so they probably exchanged links is probably what they did. I could probably find their backlink on here if they use a WordPress page source. Control F. I think it was under their domain, right? Yeah, so here it is. Here's their domain. Right here. Which it looks like a direct link. There's not anchor text or anything. That's what it is. So it should be right on their site, right? On here. Maybe I just missed it. So I just did do follow to highlight it. That might be an image too. It's somewhere on here. We could do a little bit more searching. I just found it on the source code. That's not it. Oh, they're being kind of tricky. Anyways, it's not a great site. The site has zero trust flow on here. So they've just done like a local probably exchange link on this end. But there's zero trust flow on here. Zero with the rest of these sites. Nothing. And those are the top four. The rest of them are a no follow, redirect, deleted on here. So I hope this is super easy to totally crush these people on here. Let me get rid of that. And let me just show you, I know this was like 4 or 5 sites down, but I want to show you that this is the number 1 ranking site up here on here, which they're not going to have any backlinks to, almost guaranteed. But this one will probably have some it has some likes to it as well, or some So this one's going to have, let's just take a look at this. Now this has a root. Now the root trust flow is going to factor into this. It's going to have probably a root trust flow of about a 60 or so, at least above a 50. But so that will factor into it. But let's just take a look at. So we're going to do the URL so it doesn't bunch back to the Yelp on here. And let me turn this off. Sorry if I'm sidetracking, but okay. So this is their. Well, let's look at the summary. So they have no trust flow, no citation flow. So let's look at their backlinks on here. See, they do have backlinks, but they got 5. That's all it takes, some reviews and 5s. None of these backlinks on here have any trust flow whatsoever. This one looks like it's related, though, which is important. This is some kind of paid site. Yeah, here they are right here, see? No, this is a review site, and somebody just sucked this in. The site just sucked it in here through some kind of bot. They didn't even go after that link. Yeah, here's their other one. This is another one, just sucked it in. It's total junk. These are total junk leaks on here. Look, if you've requested a Web 2.0 from us because you qualified for it, you know that they're all, you never even received a 10. Probably 13, 14, 15, 16, or 17 trust flow. These guys don't even have those kind of backlinks. And if you take a backlink and you take that and you are pushing that towards, and I show you how to repurpose them, right? So you repurpose them and then you put your own good quality article, not some little dinky link from your webmaster, okay? You're going to crush it. Do you understand this? You're going to absolutely crush it. It's not that hard when you really start looking at the competition. I mean, you really look at it. You just got to take slow and steady. That's the key. You can't get crazy with it. If you feel like you got to get crazy, then use the tier ones like I talked about before. Alrighty. So let me get back to some of the questions. Yes, I'm a recent member of Callzoo, and I missed the relaunch. Just contact our support, and we look after our own. So if you're a past Callzoo member, no problems. Just contact the support.callzoo.com. Let me get you that link now, and just contact the support. We always look after our own. And let me get that. We'll get back to the questions here. And, I don't know why it's not allowing me to copy that. There we go. Sorry about that. Okay, let's get things moving on. Send all. There we go. Just a comment here. Thank you, Chris. You tell it like it really is. I appreciate that. You're welcome. Okay. If it was easy, everyone would do it. Exactly. And the thing is, it is, I mean, once you kind of adopt the work ethic, it is easy because that just becomes a part of who you are. There's no PDF for this webinar. I never offered one. Sorry, DC, if you expected one. How many tumblers can you point at one money site? As many as you want, but let me rephrase that. As many as you need to rank. It's going to be better. So basically, my team keeps track. They take your name and your email, and if you requested, last time you requested a Web 2.0 and you got a live journal, then the next time we want to give you something different, so that you have a variety in there, okay? Exposing our niche. What's crowd search on here? Let me go ahead, and that's a good question on here. Because I'm surprised. Actually, I'm not surprised because it's like not even available. So what is CrowdSearch? CrowdSearch is an awesome service. It gets bad rap, but it only gets bad rap because people don't know how to use it. Okay, so what is CrowdSearch? CrowdSearch is this. So Google clearly is part of their algorithm. They don't just look at backlinks in your content. The other thing that they factor in is the users, people who come on the site and look for a particular product or service. And if they come to your site, how long do they stay there? Do they just go there and just leave right away and go someplace else and stay there for a long time? What does that clearly tell Google? That the other site is better. If someone came to your site, bounces off in 2 seconds, goes to another site in the same niche, and then spends 3 or 4 or 5 minutes there. Which one is better? The one that the user, and if that happens again and again and again, that means that the other site is better than yours. That means that yours is not going to rank, no matter how many freaking backlinks you take to it. So CrowdSource is really unique, created by a friend of mine. He started this project like three and a half years ago, and has kept evolving it to really kind of epic levels. A lot of work involved in this. So he has found people from all over the world, all over cities and stuff, that for really low cost will using their computers and their local IP addresses. These are real people. So you can't get penalized for this. These are real people. These are real people going into Google, searching for your brand name or searching for a keyword, and they go through Google and they only click on your site and no one else's. And when they get on your site, they hang out there, they click through the various links, they hang out for 3 minutes, and then they take off, and then they stop searching for that product or niche. What kind of message does that tell Google? You're pretty damn good. Now, that can be used for evil. I'm just going to tell you, you can use it for evil, because you can also tell those same CrowdSearch people to go to your competition site and leave after 1 second, and then go to your site and stay there. That's evil. But you don't need to do that to be successful, but it's an option should you get it's an option you have in your tool belt should you ever need it. You got to load a gun should you ever need it, but if you're going to point it, you got to shoot, okay? So I hope that explains that. It's just like, it's like the most, everyone talks about backlinks and all this kind of crap and quality sites, which is all important, right? I shouldn't call it that. But how do you fake this? How do you fake real people from real IP addresses? Different ones come into your site. How do you fake 20 different people from Houston come into your site? 20 different IP addresses. CrowdSearch. That's how you do it. It's phenomenal. But this is what happens is that people that do CrowdSearch, after they've spent months of, sending all these spammy links and this crappy sites, and then they try CrowdSearch thinking it's going to be the end all. No one can help you at that point. Okay. You're already screwed. Sorry. You've just tried all the shortcuts and all the automated tools, and, you're way back there on beyond page 10 and never land. CrowdSearch ain't nothing going to help you at that point. Okay, next question here. Okay, I'm going an hour and a half now, so I'm going to start to wrap this up. If using a virtual office method for address, are we still able to get the Google Maps? For the virtual address, make sure there's been a little bit of confusion about that. I need to clean that up. You want to make sure it's basically real simple. Okay, so first of all, the example that I gave in the members area, that's a perfect example of a area that you could use for Google Maps in the future to qualify for it without a postcard. Number one, this is the number one rule. A human, because a human will look at this. Okay, so a human from Google will go to Google Maps and they'll turn on the images and they'll try to find where your office is. So you can't have Google Maps. You got to look around. You can't have Google Maps have an angle that can actually see your front door. That's number one. Number two, you have to be able to convince them that this is a location where for you and for others that are other businesses that are sharing the building, that customers actually come here. Is it reasonable that customers will actually come here? You have a dentist, you have a chiropractor, you have a CPA sharing the same building. Yeah, they would come, right? They'd even come with you, even if you service and go to the customer. So it's got to be those. It's got to fit those two criteria. Okay, that's the only way. Okay, we haven't done it with a virtual address where you have like a whole bunch of businesses within one address. We haven't done that yet. Some common mistakes that I've seen come in through the support tickets is the building clearly, and this may just be a European thing, because only America doesn't use the metric system, and only America calls the ground floor the first floor. The rest of the world I just want you to know, the rest of the world, the ground floor is the ground floor, which is 0. And what the U.S. calls the second floor, everyone else calls the first floor. Just FYI. So there might be confusion there, but in the U.S., if you're going to the U.S. market and you're not from there, just keep that in mind, that the ground floor is ground 1. So in an elevator, you won't have a 0 there, you'd have a 1. And if you press 2, you're going up to what you would expect to be the first floor, which in America's and Canada is actually the second floor. So don't look at the building and go, oh, it's a 2-story building, so I'm going to have my number as 3. Don't do that, because in America that means a 3-story building and you'd be busted right away. I hope that makes sense. Eric, what's your member site URL? I'll put that in for right now. And okay, so let's see what else we got. Do we even have anybody on the call still? Oh, we got tons of people on. Fantastic. Okay. Let's see this. On that example that you just gave, is your profit after your back costs? Rick, I don't understand the question, so ask that again. Good. Oranges are not the only fruit. Okay, good. Backlinking and indexing to Web 2.0s. Once they're indexed and removed, please clarify. I don't understand. Okay, so Doug's a question on here. Just want to make sure, clarify that. So I talked about earlier. Let me get the question in here. Got another blank one here. Okay, so backlinking and indexing to Web 2.0s, and once they are indexed, remove them. Please clarify. Do you understand? Okay, so a backlink doesn't count unless it's indexed by Google, unless Google crawls it and then they index it in the search engine, so that somehow if you search for some name or something in the article or something, that it's going to show up in the search results. If it doesn't show up in the search results, it's not indexed. And inside the course, I give you a tool we use. It's free to just enter in your URLs, URLs to your forums, your blog posts, your citations and stuff. You just enter them all in and just hit enter, and it tells you whether they're indexed or not. So you don't have to do it manually. If it's not indexed, then that backlink doesn't count. So you have to get an index. So there's lots of ways to get things indexed. You send other backlinks to them. Well, the first stage is usually get them pinged. You can use Licklicious. There's some paid services you can use out there. Just basically send backlinks to your backlinks so that they get indexed. You can also just ping it for free And then take one of our Web 2.0 properties, which we give to you. You have it. And then there's going to be a widget on the side, so you can add a widget on the side. Same widget as you would as a WordPress blog. And you're going to enter in your backlinks there on the widget. And we found that will index our kind of hard to index backlinks. And that works pretty darn good. And then once they're indexed and they're working, then we just remove them from the Web 2.0 because we don't want, our Web 2.0 leaking out some of its juice, its high trust flow to some of our other, lower level sites backlinks that we want to get indexed. Okay. Okay, let me go scroll down the bottom. Still not clear. You do or don't want Google Reviewer to see an image of your building. You do not want them to see it. The building's fine, but it's kind of like imagine a big strip mall. And if you're in the members area and you looked over the example I gave, you can't see it. You can't see clearly the building and address that I gave. You can see the building, you can kind of see it a little bit, but you can't really see a clear picture. And that's what you want. So imagine you got like some kind of strip mall or something like that, and Google Images, when they drove around with a little car and their camera, didn't do a good job at taking a picture of one side of the building. That's what you want. You want to make it so that your office is located over there. Okay, that's what I mean by that. If you watch the training, it's pretty darn clear, I think. Okay, so I'll just copy and paste this question. I just forgot the other one. So the question is, is buying an age domain for your money lead gen site a good idea if it can be branded properly? Yeah, I mean, if it's a good, clean site, good, clean domain, and it's got to be somewhat closely related to your niche, then yes. That would be a pretty good idea. But what I'm teaching right now works really, really good with a brand new site. So this is kind of another one of those examples I gave earlier. Although I appreciate the question, so I'm not like coming down on you hard. I do appreciate the question. But this isn't like another example of, we provide all these steps in what you need to do, and it's like every single step of the way, we get whole bunches of people trying to find other ways to insert another step into this step here. No, just trust me. Stuff really works the way that I laid out, and we don't use age domain sites. So if you want to save yourself a step, okay, on this end of it, and just follow what I'm saying, just buy a fresh, brand new domain. Just don't even worry about it. You'll be fine. Look, we're already providing you with so much stuff. You'll be fine. Alrighty, so I'm going to make last call for questions on here. So that's last call for questions. So I'm going to just do the last ones that are here. If you got an absolute urgent question that I did not answer, just send it into my support desk. And we'll get it. Copy, paste. Okay, so we'll do two more questions. There's that one. There we go. And copy. And this one's a duplicate. So I'll copy and paste this one in here. Sorry if that takes a little bit longer, but I think it's worth it for people who are watching this. They can look over slides. What about private blog network link that comes from a site that has been de-indexed? And how long from the time you purchase a backlink from a private blog network for it to work before it gets de-indexed? First of all, I go into a whole rant, like a 35-minute rant about how not to buy private blog networks links because I go over one of the number one sites for them, and I just start pulling them out one or after the other. I do Majestica and other backlinks. I just start looking at them. They're all freaking trash, total trash. Don't use them unless you're gonna buy your own private blog network. Unless you're gonna get your own or invest your own. That's almost like a full-time job. But that's why we provide these things for you. But what about a private blog network that comes from a site? What about a private blog link that comes from a site that has been de-indexed? If it's been de-indexed, it's been de-indexed for a reason. Google only de-indexes a site it doesn't like. I would just let it go. There's no, Google's kind of like the really angry girlfriend or the really jealous boyfriend, and you just like totally piss them off. I mean, like really piss them off. They kind of never forgive you. Okay? It's kind of what it's like. So if you got your site de-indexed or you got it pushed all the way back, kind of sandbox-ish, you're kind of screwed. I'm just telling you. And there's all kinds of articles you find how you can recover and blah, blah, blah. Well, that's because someone's probably got a recovery program to share for you. And some of them probably work and they have validity to them. But if you just follow the steps and take your slow thing. But, look, red flag, like more than a red flag plus like 12 cop cars coming. I got a private blog network site that has been de-indexed. Guess what you do? You remove your freaking links from there and run like hell. Get the hell out of there. I hope I understand your question correctly. Okay, last questions on here. Very last question. Let me copy and paste this one in here. And there we go. This is the last question. And we're running an hour and 45 minutes. Wouldn't Google Street View, where you can do a virtual drive down the street, overcome the tactic of ensuring that there's a poor photo angle from the office building? No. Whoever asked this question obviously did not, and I appreciate the question, so I got to come down here kind of hard because you did not watch the training video where I specifically went over an example of a good address. And I did the whole street view, everything. And from the whole street view, you couldn't see jack diddly squat. Okay? So there we go. All right, ladies and gents, that's it. I'm out of here. Thanks for your time. Tons of people showed up. I appreciate it. Appreciate everyone's questions, even the ones I gave you a hard time about. That's okay. That's just because I care. Adios. Bye-bye.